In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a highly effective Google Ads campaign to bring in more leads and more customers to help scale your dog training business. This is the exact strategy that I use in my agency in 2026, and I'll be walking you through this example on a live client site, showing you exactly how to set up and structure everything within your campaign. Quickly, before you launch any Google Ads campaigns, you'll want to make sure you have your conversion tracking set up. If you have not done that yet, I will leave a link above the video right now. So pause the video and make sure you set that up before getting into this tutorial. Okay, now we're going to jump into the Google Ads account and then start setting up our campaign. But before we do that, the most important thing to do is make sure that you have your keywords that you are wanting to target. And the best way to do that is to go into the tools section, planning, and keyword planner. In here, you can search for all of the keywords that you are wanting to target, and it's going to give you a good idea of their search volume, the competition level, and how much they're going to cost based on the bidding system that Google runs. I'm not going to go too in depth on this because it's quite time consuming, but let me know if you want a more detailed guide and I'll make a separate video on this. So I'm just going to go get the search volume forecast, grab our keywords that we're going to be targeting, paste them in there, and get started. Now, this client is in the United States, but they are in a small place just outside San Diego. So we actually want to change the location here. We'll search Marcos, which is going to bring us way closer to where we need to be. And then I'll just go and add a bunch of these other nearby areas as well so that we have a more accurate search volume. I'll just go and add that now. Right, I've just gone and added a few more. This isn't going to be the final sort of picture, but this just gives us a little bit more of an idea of how it looks like once you've added them all in. We'll click save. And now this is going to drastically change the search volumes because it's obviously a much smaller area. Here, there's three main things you want to look at in this data, and that is the average monthly searches. And then we also want to look at the top of page bid low range and the top of page bid high range. So that just means sometimes when you search for a service on Google, you might see three Google ads. The very bottom one, which is the low range for dog trainer, might cost you $3.64 a click. And the very top result at the very top of the page is going to cost you as much as $9.14. So this just gives us an idea of roughly what things are going to cost based on the location and the search volume. All right, now that we've got our keywords, let's jump into the actual campaign build. So what you want to do is click on campaigns, the blue plus button, and we're going to create a new campaign. The objective of this campaign is leads because we're a dog training business, so we need leads to function. So we'll click on that. These are the conversion goals that we're going to be optimizing towards. In that video that I linked to you earlier, this is where you would set up all of these conversion goals, but I've already done this for now, so I'm just going to quickly go and add. There's the contacts, which is the phone link click. We have the phone call leads, which is the calls from the Google ads, so the link on the actual Google ads, so people can click that and call you directly. And the last one is the submit lead form, which is the contact form on our website. So we'll continue with that. Here, there are the campaign types. For 90% service-based businesses, we're just always going to go with the search campaign. It's just by far the most effective. Campaign name, because we're an agency, I'm just going to call it this, private training services, something like that. And then here, the ways you'd like to reach your goal. This one can actually be a little bit tricky. You don't want to select phone calls or lead form submissions because this is actually talking about their own on-platform software. What we actually want to click here is website visits. And then what we'll do is grab the URL, paste that in there, and then continue. All right, so now we're up to bidding. For most businesses, you're going to want to focus on conversions. That's the whole point of these ads. You're trying to send traffic to your website and get them to either call you or fill out a contact form for your services. But for this specific account, we're actually operating on a very low budget. So what we're going to do is go for optimize for clicks, because this is going to allow us to get more people clicking on our ad and give Google Ads a little bit more data quicker into the campaign, so then we can start optimizing from there. So what I'm going to do is actually run this a clicks campaign for 1 to 2 months until we have a certain amount of data or a certain amount of conversions, and then we'll switch it over to conversions and start optimizing to try and bring the cost per conversion down. But if you're working on a low budget, I recommend starting with clicks so you can get that data into your account. Go next. For networks, we just want to untick both of these. They're not very reliable. For locations, we have a really specific target area, which is obviously where this client or business is located. So we need to enter another location. So just to find that location, I'll just quickly type in the town. It is in California. And then we'll go to advanced search. So what you can do from here is a number of things. You can either select radius. So for example, you can make this a 5-mile radius and you could drop a pin. That works fine, although it's a little bit harder to get exactly where you're trying to target. Or you could go location. Let's remove this quickly and go show all areas. This is actually the way that I prefer to do it, is to zoom in and just manually include all of the areas. There's a couple of benefits to this. It's more accurate in the way that in the areas that you're targeting, but it also allows you at a future date to come back and allocate bidding on certain areas based on how it's performing. So if you have San Marcos right here performing better than East Grove over here, we could up the budget in the San Marcos area to further those results. So I'll just quickly go through and add all of these in right now and get back to you. All right, I've gone and added all those extra areas and I'm quite happy with the location targeting here. So we'll click save. Now under location options, this is a super important part of your campaign. We need to make sure that we are not on the presence or interest of people regularly in or who have shown interest. Your ad can be shown to people who may not even be located in your area, but they've just shown interest in potentially your business or your service. So this can easily waste a lot of your budget and it's just not worth having on. So click this one here. It is not an EU political ad campaign. Audience segments, you can go through and add things that are potentially relevant to your business or service, but I tend to leave these alone as it can sort of restrict your targeting if you overdo it. So we'll leave this on observation and we'll move on. All right, now under more settings, we want to keep this prefer best performing ads. Start date is today and there's no end date, so that'll just be when we decide to turn it off. You can add a ad schedule, which I would recommend doing if you're not a business that wants to run these 24/7. So what I'll do is just go to the business's Google business profile and we can see that they are open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday, Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So I'm just going to add a quick schedule for that. Monday to Friday. Perfect. That's been added. And now we'll just go next. AI Max, I'd recommend leaving this alone. It's just not good enough yet to worry about. You just want to manually set up your campaigns. Next. Here you can add your keyword and asset generation. This is going to just basically scan your website and it's going to help you come up with the headlines and descriptions and hooks and things like that for when you actually create your ad. I prefer to do this manually because I feel like I've got a better feel of the business and the client and also the copywriting as well. So I feel like I can come up with slightly better hooks than what they're going to come up with. All right, so I'm just going to paste our keywords here with their match types we're going to go for. What we're using here is a mix of exact match and phrase match. So for the keywords that include a location, we're going to use an exact match because that is highly relevant to the location that they are searching for. So we don't want anything else that may interfere with that. But for keywords like dog training near me or dog trainer or dog behavior training, we're going for phrase match because there's a number of different variations that could lead them to this service that we're offering. So we don't want to exclude any of those. So we're just going to go through and start filling out all of these boxes here. So we're actually going to be targeting the private training page, not the home page. So that will be our final URL. You can do a display path here. I might just do something like private training. All that does is just add the private/training. I've actually decided to add the call button, which is this one right here. So if someone sees the ad, they can just call us straight away. And that is a very highly effective conversion and usually leads to work for the client as well. All right, so now we're up to the headlines. I just want to show you a quick little trick that I like to do. If you add a squiggly line and you go keyword insertion and then add one of your keywords, so behavior training, apply that, and then we pin this into the first position. What this is going to do is it's going to take all of our keywords here, and whatever the person is searching, so say they search dog training San Marcos, that is what's going to show up in the first headline. If they search dog training Carlsbad, that is going to show up in number one. So now what you can do is we go over to our spreadsheet with all of our other headlines. I can grab a CTA or a call to action, and we can add this into the second position right here and pin this into position 2. And when this loads, I'll show you what it does. So that is the keyword, dog training near me. And then the second headline is book your evaluation. So that's a super relevant title based on what they're searching, because the thing that they search is what they get on their screen. And then you also have your CTA calling them to action, book an evaluation. From here, I'm just going to quickly go through and add all of our other headlines, and I'll get back to you afterwards. All right, there we go. I've now added a bunch of different headlines, and Google's just going to filter through these and gather data and just sort of see which of these yield the sort of best results. Now down to descriptions, same thing. I've already got them here. Just going to copy and paste these really quick. Cool, that's all done. Now images, we can go to the library, and we just want to make sure that we're adding as many of these as possible that are relevant to the services that we're pushing. Select. Some of these you'll have to crop to make sure they fit. Select, get rid of that one, looks a bit funny. And cool, now we've got a pretty good library of images for Google to filter through. This is name, make sure you add the logo. And the site links here are just little links that are going to appear at the bottom of the ad that people click on and land on sort of different sections of your website. So I've already got these here as well. I'm just going to go add these in quickly. Site link 1, we're going to go private training and final URL. Site link 2, hybrid training, which is our other service page. This one here, it's got very similar services on it. The final URL. Site link 3, we're going to make a contact us site link and link to the contact page. And lastly, about. So about the business, and we'll add that there. Cool. Now we have the 4 site links. Callouts, this is just another little piece of information you can add, which sort of adds a little bit more information to your ad. They don't add too much to your ad in ways of like conversion rate, but it helps just take up a little bit more real estate on the page and can sort of make your ad a little bit bigger. So sometimes it's worth adding. So I'll just add a few of these. Callouts, 1, 2, 3. This one's just too long, so I'll remove that character. I'll just make that in home sessions. We'll save that. Cool, now you can see the little call outs at the bottom of the description right here. And that's just about it. I'm just gonna go next. We're up to budget. It's gonna recommend a budget, but it's gonna obviously recommend way too much because they want to make money. So I know the budget for this client is $10. Weekly cost $70, and we can assume to get about 38 clicks a week. Cool. Just got to confirm it's you. Make sure you just go through all of these and just make sure everything looks correct here. And then we're just going to select publish campaign. And there we go. The campaign is now set up and just verifying, and then it will start the learning phase of the campaign, and then it will start spending money and bidding on keywords. From here, you want to keep an eye on things and add negative keywords to make sure that you're eliminating wasted spend on keywords that you don't want to be targeting. But now this is an ongoing process of just optimizing the campaigns for this particular client. In the future, when we start to up the budget, I will add in extra ad groups so then we can target the other service pages like the hybrid training, as well as the board and train, where I'll then go and target different keywords in different locations as well. So there you have it. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any other future content. Cheers.